Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to an AOC Pro Cup presentation of Zephyr Dota versus Everlast.Gamefilling, a best-of-3 series between these two teams in day one of the AOC Pro Cup. We're looking forward to an awesome match against some popular faces and some very, very skilled ones as well. So, definitely an interesting back-and-forth match, though I have to admit that I haven't seen too much from Everlast recently. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I myself am Blaze the Dota Talk, and joined by Congo Cow. What's going on, man?
Hey, nothing much. Yeah, pretty pumped to be here casting the new Zephyr all the way from Korea, and of course seeing Blitz and Purge back in action. I mean, they were, growing up in Dota, they were my mans, my guys, but not seeing them out again. But immediately pick up first pick Bog by Everlast, and the answer of course is going to be the OP Ember Spirit up against it. And look at that, immediately pick up on the Doom again. So I'm starting to sense a little bit of a feature here, that when there's an Ember Spirit we pick up a Doom, you know, that kind of thing. But sure. Powerful enough, picking up the Bog, as we've spoken about before plenty of times, just how powerful that hero is. And I guess his durability is not really the right word, but his sustainability rather in lanes. You know, in the off lane he's tanky enough to get a couple of early levels, and then that first big team fight where he sprays calls for a good minute or so and gets a rampage. You know, the hero is slowly becoming one of the most OP heroes, I think, next to the Ember Spirit and of course Slark. Since Slark, just seeing banned out there in the as a second ban for Zephyr, Slark is basically a broken hero. He has an ability which defies the mechanics of Dota 2, not being able to be seen. So completely broken hero. But on the other hand, Ember Spirit, Bristleback, right up there, and it's great to see them being picked up in this game. I have to see how they do go down.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, as people figure him out a little bit more, Ember Spirit Sheen will be a little bit easier to pin down, a little bit less of a threat, but right now he is in his prime, being just unleashed to the metagame. In just the past couple of days, we've seen some great wins and some unfortunate losses with Ember Spirit at the front line on both. So should be a very interesting one. As you mentioned, the Doom is a pretty good counter pick. We'll see if it's effective enough. But in the meantime, Zephyr, their draft is just setting themselves up so securely for the lanes. They ban out two of the most powerful supports in the game, the Rubik and the Shadow Demon, and they pick up the other two, Sand King for Eosin and Crystal Maiden for Purge, both extremely well practiced on these two heroes. So they know exactly where they're going to be rotating and how aggressive they're going to be. They've just really set it up where they have the potential to completely control the early game. We do see, of course, the Lion will be picked up. He has two great disables to lock down, presumably the Ember Spirit, maybe a quick Hex on a Sand King to interrupt an Epicenter. That kind of thing can be very, very important, but the bottom line is they need a lot of chain disables as well as some great burst in order to bring down Ember Spirit. But if you can pop that shield fast enough, the Finger of Death won't be enough, and they will need to contribute at least 3 heroes to try to bring him down, which is unfortunate, but that's just how it works when you're facing a glass cannon that can output so much and escape so easily. In the meantime, we are going to be seeing the, I believe, carry Naga Siren picked up by Corey, though it could go the other way and be seen in the mid.
Yeah, that's what I spoke about in the first game when we saw Ember Spirit being picked up by Zephyr. I said that line as well is fantastic, not really a counter, but just fantastic against him in the sense that Hex is immediate, has no cast animation, it's instant, and it can stop him from doing that annoying jump or using his using his Sleight of Fist as well to jump around. And yeah, we're going to do. The only thing I see a problem with here in Everlast draft is they're drafting very passive heroes. They're drafting, and adding to that, they pick up the Enchantress now as well. I mean, sure, there's the ability to push, but there's no real urgency. Whereas you look across the lineup of Zephyr, they have heroes to make kills. They have Naga Siren to get a net off Crystal Maiden, one of the best level 1, level 2, level 3 supports. I mean, just adding so much to the laning phase, especially for a hero like Naga Siren. Sand King, on the other hand, I don't know if you've seen this yet, but in a couple of games that are casted over the week, it was mostly for I think it was the Balkan Cup, which I saw it being used quite a lot. There was Sand King in almost every game. And what the Sand King did with the change to Sandstorm, he essentially stacked stacked a camp maybe 3 or 4 times to its maximum, and he just sandstormed, and he got a blink dagger at, like, I think it was like 11 minutes or something like that. So it's it's fantastic now that it's changed, because the creeps essentially don't run out of the range of the Sandstorm, so they continue taking damage from Sandstorm. At the same time, you have a Crystal Maiden, you have a Naga Siren in the safe lane. Naga Siren, naturally quite tanky, can pick up a poor man's shield, can be secured some farm alongside Crystal Maiden there, just helping out, and they pick up a Clockwork as well. So there is the sort of long-range initiation that we always like to see. Some of the bans, though, we haven't really touched on much of the bans, they take out the Elder Titan, maybe just because the setup with Naga Siren and the sort of the addition with Sanking Epicenter, and the Invoker, as well as I feel Everlast could still be looking for that solo mid. If they are going to let the Doom farm, probably put the Bristleback in the off lane. However, I feel Bristleback could be, you see, putting Bristleback against the Ember Spirit in the mid, you know, it could go either way. Bristleback will be able to farm, naturally tanky, you know, the Crawl Spray as well. But they don't have. He doesn't have anything to help him with that mana pool besides going for a bottle.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of ways that you could try to sustain it, but I think Zephyr just has an easier time of it. They're going to get the Arcane Aura up. It's going to allow Ember Spirit to sustain well. At worst case, he picks up an Arcane Boots to really spam his spells out, but yeah, just a bottle for right now as well as the Arcane. We're actually going to be seeing a Spirit battle, most likely. No, it's currently Corey Ember Spirit. We'll see if there's a swap in a moment, but things are changing up a little bit differently than I expected them to. And I know that Zephyr changed up their roles quite a bit, but seeing Blitz pick up the Clock, Sexy Bambo pick up the Naga Siren, and now Corey on the Ember Spirit, those three specifically I could not have predicted. We'll have to see exactly the prominence here, but most likely we're still going to see a defensive try because Crystal Maiden and Sand King, as you mentioned, are so good in the jungle. I mean, Eosin, all he really wants to do is just crank the Darude in the background while he gets free golden experience. We'll see, but after this quick pause, we'll get into the game. It's still pretty interesting to see this specific selection, unless they intend to swap. Right now, yeah, they're still retaining that hero composition. Do you think this is going to be a mid-clock, perhaps? I don't know. Boots first Siren, wow. This is interesting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an aggressive off lane, and then they're going to have probably Blitz going to the middle lane up against the thing, but probably introduce the rosters quick.
Yeah, starting off, we'll look over at the side of the Radiant. We've got Everlast, the qualifiers from the Thailand region, and we do have Enchantress going up towards the top lane just to play some wards. We'll make her way back to the jungle in a short while. Actually has all our items pooled up on the courier for when she returns. In the meantime, that looking over at TNT, he's going to be running on the Lion support. This leaves MyPro to be running the Doombringer as a core, perhaps on the mid, though it's also possible that they'll take the Storm there. Either way, that is his Bungcell Tornado. I think he's a stand-in running on the Storm Spear here. Going to go for an early Basilius, leaving Bristleback to make his way towards the off lane on the Solodic. Though, as I said, there are some interchangeable roles here. Doom could be mid, and so could the Bristle in technicality. Either way, that's the full roster of Everlast, so looking over at Zephyr.
Yeah, on Zephyr we've got Eosin and that Sand King ready in the jungle, being spotted out by that ward that was just placed down. Clockwork heading to the middle, it's going to be Blitz. And of course Ember Spirit being played by Corey, and it's interesting to see that they're going to send to the top lane, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Of course we have Purge, the man of many guards that I love to use when I play Dota, on the Crystal Maiden, and then of course Naga Siren being played by Sexy Bamboo. And in this bottom lane as well, I mean, interestingly enough,
yeah,
he's gonna have a relatively he's gonna have a pretty tough time in the bottom lane. I mean, Lion disable, you got the Storm Spirit, but yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, this looks pretty good to start off. He's going for a Magic Bush block at the 30-second mark. It actually won't get it. The illusion will be killed off here, so there will be a couple of spawns. There will be for the pole camp. There will be for the central camp, and that means at least a Satyr will be at Enchantress's disposal, but still using these illusions early to block them off. They benefit a lot from the boots speed, which he picked up early on. The illusions get that benefit. So right now, the base movement speed of the hero, 320 plus 50. This guy is moving so darn fast, and it's going to be very difficult to pin him down. If he can just control the jungle, as we see with these illusions, he's going to be running like a Furion, essentially, just making it so that they can't do anything to him, and they can't really go for hardcore jungling either.
Yeah. At the same time, I mean, he doesn't have a start shield or anything, so he's not too worried about harassment. But as you mentioned, yeah, blocking off the jungle as much as he can, which is actually doing pretty okay at the moment. But in the top lane, we still have a relatively safe lane here for for the Ember Spirit to farm in. I mean, up against a Bristleback, like I said, he has sustainability in the lane, but he's not really going to farm, and he's trying to get a couple of levels here. So as he heads down to the low ground to try and catch up a couple of creeps here and there, and back to the middle lane. I mean, Clock up against Doom. It's a lane essentially that Doom can farm in. But I fear once the Clockwork reaches, there we go, once he reaches a couple of levels with the Battery Assault and the Rocket Flare, he'll start doing a little bit of damage to the Doom, since Doom only has got 1 armor.
Yeah. Found it pretty interesting. They actually went for the Magic Stick build-up before the bottle. I'm not sure if he thought he was going to go toe-to-toe with Storm Spirit, and he felt that was a good counter build to go up against it. I think they did think it was going to be a safe lane Doom and a mid Storm, and that's why he built this way with the Magic Stick, because he knows if anybody knows how to play against a Storm Spirit, it's certainly Blitz. So the Magic Stick against the Remnants, that kind of comes into play. Though a Rune Denial on the Enchantress over for Blitz down on bottom, so... Yeah, he's doing okay in this mid matchup, but he didn't get the matchup he was expecting, so he didn't build as appropriate for it, as there isn't that much spell spam to make the Magic Stick worthwhile, and now not picking up that rune, he's going to be a little bit on the back foot, bottle crowing it up.
Yeah, and yeah, like I said, like there's no real urgency in Everlast's lineup, so I don't think we're going to see a lot of action in the early game unless it's on the side of Zephyr, where they're trying to make a couple of kills here and there, but they don't really have a lineup that can get a couple of quick pick-offs until the Storm maybe gets to level 6 and he wants to be a little bit active and jumping around and grabbing up. But they're going to struggle to kill Naga Siren once he does get Song of the Siren up, and he's actually not doing too bad on levels. If you look at the level of the Bristleback, he's level 2, Naga Siren, Sexy Bamboo in the off lane, up to level 3 now. Just really sitting back as Enchantress and Lion actually making a rotation around here, so we'll see.
But look how fast he is. I mean, that base movement speed, 370 with boots. They can't possibly pin him down. Now we see the Lion picking up the boots, trying to close the distance a little bit more. Could technically hex, but just without the Enchantress there, she's already retreated. There's no kill potential. So Sexy Bamboo is actually playing this extremely well in my mind, and like you said, he's getting great experience. He was 5th on, he's still 5th on the experience per minute chart, and that's pretty solid for a 1 versus 3 suicide lane. In the meantime, smoke movement towards the mid lane, right underneath this observer ward, but they don't care. This gives Doom a false sense of security and almost gives them an opening, but Solitic, looking to stack up the Ancients, will scout them out.
Why? You should probably send this Wildkin middle, or Wildwing Ripper middle, since it can really push back Blitz and give the Doom a little bit of a chance to, well, not that he's not farming farm, he's actually doing pretty well in terms of farm. He's got 19 CS, so he's doing okay, but that could really help out the Doom in the middle lane, just pushing Blitz way off, and they do secure another rune for him, so he picks up the double damage, and actually pops it off immediately. Is he try? No, I don't think he'll try go on the Doom here.
Nah, I mean, he does have a lot of solo kill potential. 3 points in Battery Assault. This guy's able to really, if he can close in with the cogs and with just maybe 1 creep and then Doom specifically, he's going to be able to just do so much damage with his double damage right click, with that magical assault taking away. But it's just, obviously Doom is aware of this, has a Scorched Earth movement speed as well as a Centaur Stomp, and should be able to evade if push comes to shove. So in the end, a very bloodless start, no first blood picked up just yet, and relatively high HP heroes on all sides, so really not that much kill potential. But this passivity quite a bit benefits Zephyr, in my opinion. The fact that they can get Eosin to his level 2, his level 3, and move into a point where he can actually be a real ganking hero, because as it is, the Burrow Strike range, it's just a huge hindrance to his early kill potential, and as such, he's mostly just focused to farming the neutrals up instead of actually making his efforts known across the map.
He's going to have a pretty fast Arcane Boots as well, and he's going to go do the Sandstorm thing again over here, as I spoke about earlier, with the range to be increased. They run pretty much to the edge. Actually, this time they're going to run all the way out, but as he gets a couple more levels, he's going to get really fast Arcane Boots and some quick levels as well. Up to level 3 now, we'll get that second level in Impale. Burrow Strike. But in the meantime, Ember Spirit in the top lane looks
mid lane, no. Hex comes out, they doom him up. Hellbear, this is going to be first blood on Blitz. Great smoke movement, didn't even need their boots off the courier to get that kill. They committed an ultimate, got in the great position, and that is a very nice snag for Everlast to start off with first blood, as well as some substantial tower damage in mid, forcing fortification already.
But as I was saying, Ember Spirit is farming up pretty nicely. He looks like he's going straight for a Battle Fury, which has kind of been the flavor. And I mean, like we spoke about how strong he is in the mid because of the Flame Guard and being able to farm and etc. like that.
Oh, gonna get the hook off on top of the line. He will try to fight his way out with that Impale, but there's really no hope for him. That Battery Assault is rank 3, and Blitz dishes out a heck of a whopping of damage, so that is quite substantial. But on bottom lane, it looks like Doom might be able to finish the job. No, Eosin playing it close to the chest here with that Burrow Strike. It was a very defensive one just to make sure that Doom didn't dive hard, and although it didn't miss, it was kind of a zoning Burrow that enabled him to be in the position to body block and make sure that Sexy Bambo would escape unscathed. Meanwhile, on the top, Bristleback going toe-to-toe with Ember Spirit, and it's hard to say who comes out ahead in that one, since Ember only has 2 armor, but still does quite a bit of damage with that Flame Guard.
Yeah, his arm's actually really tiny, but yeah, he's going for the Battle Fury, as I mentioned before all the battles happened. And it's 1-1 at the moment, so I mean, like I said, this is not going to be a very as fast paced as the last Ember game we saw, where they had insane team composition. But yeah, so this is going to be a relatively slow game. It'll just be Ember, I think, steamrolling a bit near the end. But Bristleback on the other end, the Quills up against Flame Guard. The Quills, I think the Quills are they're physical damage, are they not?
Yeah, they're 100%. But now on the mid lane, we do see the Impale and Doom coming out. Purge actually gets snagged by that Earth Spike as well, but they're just trying to bring down Blitz. He is dropping low, but he is now potentially going to be denied. No, Crystal Maiden can't get in position to do so. Blitz should fall here, ticking. The last tick should do it. Yes. Doom will pick up a nice kill on Clockwork, but in the meantime, Ember Spirit gets a pick on Bristleback because of the movement of the Sand King. Eosin getting a very important assist, baiting in the Bristleback and bringing him down when he's generally in an unkillable position on this offlane. So very nicely done by them, but still losing out on the tier 1 tower, as well as the second death of their solo mid.
Yeah, that was actually a bit unfortunate. I mean, he got 4 stacks of the Quills onto each of them in that team fight. So yeah, and that's right, in that fight with the Sand King and the Ember Spirit. So he essentially could have maybe picked up a kill on Eosin, but Eosin managed to get the magic wand up and pop that off to try get away, and he dropped very low. But at the same time, Storm Spirit now in the bottom, all these spirits in the bottom lane is going for what looks to be a soul, or sorry, a bloodstone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Probably specifically because Blitz is in the game, do you think? No?
Nah. I mean, it's a great item to pick up early.
Maybe
when
he's using Blitz's guide against him.
There you go. You just pull up the guide in the corner. It even gives you your recommendations of skill builds, and you're good to go. But nah, I think it is going to be a Bloodstone rush. The sooner you get that Bloodstone, the more effective it's going to be, and so just in general, he's going to be able to make his mark across the map, and he needs to be aggressive and have a huge mana pool to work with if he's going to initiate on this Ember Spirit. We talked a lot in the draft about how difficult it is to pin a single target like Ember Spirit down enough that he can't get away with either some good Sleight of Fist movement or, more importantly, that Fire Remnant instant teleport out. So it is very, very important that they time their spells well and they have the mana to support this Storm Spirit, and that's where the Bloodstone really shines.
Now, there might be a little bit of action on the top lane, but I'll think if I'm going to make my comment now, or...
oh, this is bad. They're going to go in on Soltic, and they are going in 2 versus 3. Corey just getting obliterated here. Huge impetus damage with the Doom. They got baited in hard. Very nicely done. And Blitz is not really going to be able to help with his current position as Clockwork. In fact, Purge feeding away to the neutrals. Very nice self-deny. But in general, it was just they had no idea what was lurking in the side shop. A good smoke movement from the Doom and the Enchantress, and they made it the Bristle bait.
Well, okay, what I wanted to say about the Storm Spirit was I respectfully disagree with his build, simply because the one thing that really shuts Ember Spirit down is silence. And if he's getting such farm in the safe lane, I would almost 9 times out of 10 expect him to go straight for that Orchid Malevolence because of the power it gives you. I mean, yes, he needs a pretty big mana pool and quite a lot of HP as well. But they have the setup. They have the Doom. They have the Hex. They have the Stun. They have Respect Slow. So essentially, he's actually going to die in the bottom lane.
Yeah, that was
very quick death.
That was very abrupt. He doesn't have any durability on.
Coming from with the Orchid.
Actually, Blitz going to pop off a haste rune. Good movement from him, as otherwise he was pinned pretty well down by that Viscous Nizugu and the Hellbear Smasher. Now going hard on to the Doom, but misses his cogs. I'm not sure if he was... Yeah, he should have been trying to cog him under the tower, so that was a bit of a miss there, but still doing a lot of damage to the Doom. The Scorched Earth healing up quite a bit. Is it going to be enough? They're going to be able to bring him down, but here comes Finger of Death, forcing Blitz back. They still take it 2 for 0, and he goes in! He hooks hard on the Lion, under the tower, and is able to get the kill. Corey taking up a few hits here. We do see Storm Spirit trying to clean up Vengeance, but actually might be feeding his life away, taking so much damage. As we said, he's just so squishy and is running low on mana. Still at half life, so he will be able to survive, but exhausted his entire mana pool for that rotation and got absolutely nothing for it. So in the end, a very favorable maneuver from Zephyr as they take this 6 for 4 and 6 for 3 if you consider the suicide.
It's interesting to see as well the skill build of the Ember Spirit at the moment, seeing as though it was a safe lane Ember Spirit, and he's getting relatively close to his Battle Fury. It's going to be a very, very quick Battle Fury as well. You know, well, don't just think, yeah, going for the Perseverance obviously for a little bit of sustainability in the lane and then getting a couple of damage items as well. So quick-ish Battle Fury, or actually really quick Battle Fury coming out here for Corey. Okay, what team was Corey in recently? Or is he a South Korean player?
No, he's definitely a NA Dota player. He's kind of one of the lesser known NA Dota players. He's considered actually one of the 2 best players on Team Zephyr, but this team is purely NA Dota that transferred over with the power of friendship over to the South Korean scene. So yeah, it's been an interesting turn of events for them. I mean, I don't think they even had this team envisioned at the turn of the year. So beginning of January, end of December, that's when they really started talking about it, and suddenly they've pulled all this together and just a couple of months really been a prominent fighting force in that Korean scene, and now moving on into the Southeastern Asian one. So
yeah,
pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. The yeah, I'm just thinking Storm Spirit's getting close to that Bloodstone now. Just needs about another 2,000 gold, but I'm just keeping my eye on this Ember Spirit. Like I said, it's a new hero to me, so I want to learn all its ins and outs. I want to know everything about it, and see how it does go against Bristleback, and obviously the Doom now being picked up as a counter. Like I mentioned, Silence as well, Lion, Drow Rain. Yeah. So I don't know. He's interesting. He's an interesting hero to understand, and I mean, I kind of missed him in Dota 1. I stopped playing Dota 1 when he was released, like right before he was released. So this is essentially an entire new hero to me. So it's really awesome to see him being played now in a safe lane, and sending over his Battle Fury at that. And AOC actually has his Blink Dagger. So as I mentioned, the little niche jungle sandstorm stuff has picked up his Blink Dagger at about the 12-minute mark.
Yeah, very, very effective timing for a Blink, and because of the change to Blink Dagger, where it no longer costs 75 mana, you really don't need the Arcane Boots to support it until after you've already picked it up. So with the Arcane Aura, with the fact that it doesn't cost any initial mana, you can actually just go for some great combos without even worrying about your mana sustainability outright. Of course, you still probably will pick up that item later on, but for right now, no harm in that scenario. Now, we do have some connection issues, as you guys can hear, for Skype, but
that was weird.
Yeah,
that was really weird.
You were cutting out a little bit before, so I figured that might be the way things were going. But right now, we just see some great push action. Tier 1 on top and Tier 1 on bottom, both being pressured hard. Not sure which one will fall first, but looks like it is going to be the Blink stun to initiate onto Storm Spirit. They need the hook shot to actually pin him down. Blitz hesitates on it, but still going to be able to lock him in. Is he going to get out of this, though? Great ball lighting out of the cogs, and he's home free. That was actually rather unfortunate, as they wasted time not claiming the Tier 1. Oh, did they get him? Oh my gosh, Eosin. Oh, big deal, Dota. Sand King blinking in and finishing him off with the Burst Strike. I didn't even see that one coming. But in the meantime, on top lane, double damage rune, assisting their assault on the Tier 2 on the top lane. We're going to have to see some big plays coming out from Zephyr to turn this one around. Naga starting to start it off. They have mana for the Epi. If they Magic Wand, has to charge it at the perfect time to make this work. Instead, just going to go for the Burst Strike onto 2. Big damage from Purge's Freezing Field, but the mechanism keeps flying up long enough for the Finger of Death. Big damage coming out from both sides. Corey is doomed up, but Blitz is in pursuit to try to clean this up 100%. Doom will fall. Bristleback looking for 1. Gonna find 0. It's going to be a 4-man wipe out of Zephyr, and keeping their Tier 2 alive.
The Finger of Death. Who did he Finger of Death in that team fight? I saw the animation, but
it was just off camera for me. Somebody in the southeastern part, but
yeah, that was strange because I saw the Finger of Death, but nobody dropped. And I mean, he must have gone on a very weak hero. But yeah, that was a great fight for Zephyr again. And I mean, the smart of Ison to go for the disable instead of the epicenter there to help out with the Crystal Maiden ultimate, and that was pretty fantastic. Very well thought out little team fight there, and that was definitely going to help them out. And what's he going for now? He's got 1,400 gold. I would expect him to pick up a expecting to pick up the arcane boots or
for Eosin or
for Eosin? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he could go for Veil and just rely on the intelligence stat to really make it work in conjunction with the freezing field. Not sure if he's that willing to ignore the tier 2 boot option, but yeah, if he's not going for arcane boots, he's definitely going for Veil, so we'll have to see.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I loved that combo. Like you said, the Burrow Strike to set up Purge's damage rather than focusing on the Epi itself. So you got in the right position, got a great double Burrow. The Lion dropped very quickly to the Crystal Maiden and made the mechanism pretty much completely inert. So they were able to clean things up nicely. That's 5 heroes consecutively without a single death, and that's even though they lost their tier 1 as well as a lot of HP on the tier 2, they feel very in control of this game.
Yeah, and there's an Invisor now on Blitz, so he's rotating around the jungle. Almost spotted out the Crystal Maiden, and I think if you spot out the Crystal Maiden, sorry, the Enchantress, it would have been, yeah, would have been a very dead Enchantress. But they've sort of returned back to their jungle now to try catch up, play a little bit of catch up. If you look at the goal graph, it's actually not that great. It's only 1,000 in favor of Zephyr and about 7,500 experience though in favor of Zephyr, which I feel, in this case, gives them a massive advantage. I mean, having the level 11 Naga Siren, offlane Naga Siren, as opposed to a level 8 offlane Bristleback, where Bristleback is a hero that's extremely level dependent, and just level 6. I mean, the support's level 11 Sanking as well. I mean, that's just insane. If you look at the hero levels and the XP per minute, it's just crazy how the whole, look at that. There's 4 heroes level 11 on the side of Zephyr and 1 level 8, and that's just the Crystal Maiden. Yeah, that's quite incredible. I mean, that's one reason why Finger of Death aren't doing anything consequential, is because this is a level 6 Lion. He's nowhere near the level, I would say, farm in an experience sense. They're so pumped to take these next fights with these rank 2 ultis. I mean, a rank 2 freezing field won't be up for about 3 more levels, but they've already got their rank 2 epicenter. They've got their shorter cooldown Song of the Siren. They've got everything they need to make these team fights worthwhile, and in the meantime, Corey is getting big. We did go for that Arcane Boots build that I was talking about, but most importantly, picked up that Battle Fury at a great time to farm these Ancients up. And that's going to give him a huge amount of damage potential in the mid game once he falls back on that gold he gains here. I wonder what he's going to go for. Am I going to finally see my Chrysalis? My
very
Chrysalis
possible,
Daedalus?
I think that's
that is
natural progression there. I mean, maybe you could go with something casual like Magic Wand or Drums just to make sure, but interesting. Sexy Bamboo actually is going to die away. I think his movements there was trying to make it look like he was an illusion, because he essentially just walked up to them and riptided them. So maybe trying to mind game them to walk on by to the next target, but they're not going to fall for that one. They doom him up and bring him down. So that is the essentially 4th kill on the board for Everlast. But yeah, in the meantime, Corey is moving towards the next big thing, and yeah, he does go for the Crystallis. So big damage from this next Sleight of Fist.
Maybe he goes for. I want to see the more than one. I want to see if it's something they do only in pubs, or if there's something they do in professional games as well, where they go for more than one Daedalus, more than one Chrysalis.
Oh, Epi charging up, Eosin going in, Burrow Strike onto 3, huge damage coming out, a great ulti from Corey as well. They lock in the Bristleback with the Searing Chains. The Finger of Death will bring down Purge, but there's a quick Sleight of Fifth, and there are 4 down. Now, because the Bloodstone is finished, the Storm Spirit will come back up in just a moment, and he's going to TP to the mid, but oh wow, some great jukes from Doom as he goes into almost no man's land, but Eosin's there to match him since they do have that Observer Ward in place. Eosin dropping low, actually might die. Magic Wand is the only thing keeping him up here, but in the end they still will pursue. The Doom blinking under tower, but with TP Scroll on cooldown as well as non-existent. He's going to have a long way to go to try to get home. Eosin walks in though. Oh goodness. Woe Dota feeds, but yeah. And even my pro is still alive right now. Actually, gets finally caught out in the tree line here, and despite some good movement from the mech, the Centaur stun, he still will eventually die. It just will take some time. Is Sexy Bamboo caught in the trees? Did the cog seriously just put him there? That's hilarious. Blitz the Master Troll. Throw Sexy Bamboo into the bushes here. Oh goodness.
That was epic.
That's just funny. That is just funny.
But at the same time, I mean, that was a pretty great team fight. As you said, the epicenter from Eosin going in there, and it looks like he's going for. Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it's gonna be a Lincoln's. I mean, he's got the ultimate orb. Yeah, Lincoln's Sphere gonna come up on him. Like, I still feel the Storm could be a lot more effective if he had gone for that Awkward Malevolence, but I'm not gonna harp on it. I'm just gonna put it out there for it's open to interpretation from anyone in the Twitch chat or watching on the Dota TV. I strongly feel if he'd gone for that, they could have really shut down the Ember Spirit a lot more sooner and not let him get this massive. But at the same time now, maybe a little bit actually asleep on the top lane. Sexy Bamboo could be in a little bit of trouble here. He has got an urn on him.
Oh, wow. Big movement from Wungsel Tornado, but in the end, Eosin barely missing on his Burrow Strike. They're going to lock him in place. No mana available, even ensnared inside the cogs. Oh, but he just barely gets enough. He barely gets enough to get out. Eosin still in pursuit, will blink stun after getting doomed up. Now a self-deny from the suicide of the Bloodstone, rocking right into the freezing field of Purge. Not doing enough damage though. They've lost their Sand King, and they didn't even kill the Storm in technicality. Blitz now in a bad spot here, gets Earth Spiked, hit by multiple impetuses, but still able to get a kill on the Lion here, and dodge out with the Cogs to try to evade the Doom. But getting hit up by the Bristleback, he's forced to TP away, and he will not survive, thanks to the level ? Death. However, Purge, getting that space created, will be able to juke in the tree line and TP himself to safety.
I've always laughed at that spell, level. It's like text speak. Yeah. Level death. But yeah, that was great. I mean, I don't know if you saw what happened with the Sand King there. He went for a stun, but he missed it completely. But it was strange. It almost like went like.
Oh, you might have lagged out there. He went for another ball lightning. It was extremely short range. Like it only moved him 200 units. But he did dodge out the burrow just with ball lightning alone. It was actually in desperation, I think, to bring down Sexy Bamboo, but in happenstance, actually was the juke of the century.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I didn't know if it was on purpose or he saw Sexy Bamboo coming out from the side to get a blink off. But yeah, that was really well played. And at the same time, nice turnaround as well. I mean, a couple of kills come out there. The two denies, one on the Sand King and one on the Storm Spirit. Or the Storm Spirit denied himself. We are going to have a pause out here from Everlast GFL as we about have a disconnect. But oh, there we go, back in and ready to rumble. Yeah, I'm looking at Sexy Bamboo. I'm trying to decide what he might go for here. Probably going to be that Manta style and just become an annoyance when it comes to pushing. But an off-lane Naga Siren, this is something I've never seen an off-lane Naga Siren before. And it's actually doing really well here for Sexy Bamboo.
Well, I mean, if you think about a couple of factors, he has high base armor, he has high movement speed, and the fact that 6.79 shifted the equilibrium of the safe lane so that it's a lot easier for the offlaners to sap experience if there aren't substantial number of pulls coming out, it makes it so that really any survivable offlaner is viable. That's why we saw Bristleback and Nyx hit the meta, and now, who knows, Naga Siren might be the new thing because she adds so much utility to the team, a decent amount of damage, and as we've seen her play support time and time again, she doesn't necessarily have to have all that much farm. So another cool thing about it is they can pick it up early in the draft, and then the worst case scenario, if they know it's not going to work out, they can have Corey play it instead. And he's played a great Naga Siren in the past.
I think that might have been the case in this sense here, that he actually, it might have, because I was looking at it being a core. I was looking at it going mid for Blitz, and then you know, putting Naga Siren as a farming carry, because I still maintain Naga Siren is probably one of the hardest carrying heroes in the late game. As you mentioned, her earlier the stats in the beginning, the armor, the movement speed, not very good at farming. If it doesn't do that great if it doesn't get enough farm, but in the late game it is an insanely strong carry. I mean, I remember someone telling me, listen, this thing can out-carry a Phantom Lancer back when Phantom Lancer was so popular, and I didn't believe it until I saw it. So that would have been really surprised if it was going to be the carry Naga Siren. But on the other end, I think this might be a kill here on the Bristleback. Maybe there is a spirit there.
No, I mean, it's just a solo. I mean, you need some disables to really step it up. I don't really believe, unless there's some uber crits coming out from Corey, that he's going to be able to bring down somebody so tanky just by himself. But in the meantime, most of the interest is peaked here in the Radiant jungle, where the Dire have some great Observer Ward placements, though about to be expired. They tried to smoke into the jungle and pin somebody down when they farmed the bottom tier 2. But it looks like that's not going to happen. Sexy Bamboo will just go for some standardized push. And Corey will very fortunately juke away from some aggression coming out from Everlast. Now, as far as item progression, we do see that Storm Spirit will be moving towards that Orchid. And kind of now that we see that coming into play, oh, well, while we watch a flank that might be Corey's death. Oh, not going to get to the high ground with that ball lightning, and spirits are just zipping across the map left and right.
It's so ridiculous. Like, if you think about the three spirits, how similar their spells are. I mean, like, look at that, the jumping, it almost looked like he was ball lightning away, but like red lightning. But anyway, yeah, that's Gonna be Roshan coming up now, so nice quick Roshan for, hopefully quick for Zephyr, as they do come in and let the spirits tank.
It's known by Everlast, but I don't think they're gonna jump in on this. I mean, so much mana used by Storm Spirit there. Very difficult to actually try to push that, but they could at least trade off this low HP tier 2 for it, at the very least. But yeah, what I was talking about, the Storm Spirit moving in towards that Orchid Malevolence, he'll have that in a relatively decent timing, not by a standard game standard where you want it like within like 15 minutes, but in this game it's not too bad in conjunction with the Bloodstone. But the reason I think he hesitated on it was that they felt that my pro was reliable enough with those Dooms to kind of take him out of the fight, but now they're realizing it's not enough. Soon there will be a Linken's on Eosin to put the buff onto the Ember Spirit, and as well as that, there's other heroes that need to be silenced. The Sand King and the Crystal Maiden are doing work in these fights, and they're now becoming some very real threats.
See, that was my original thought when I was thinking, while you were talking about Bloodstone and how effective it would be, giving him a mana pool, giving him HP. That's my original thought. I thought, okay, that's a Doom on the team. You know, if they need to pick an important hero out, they can Doom him, which is essentially why they picked up Doom to counter the Ember Spirit. But on the other hand, Doom has a relatively long-ish cooldown. I mean, you've got what's it, 100-second cooldown? It's not long, but if you can Doom someone and Orchid them in a team fight, I mean, that gives you so much more. I mean, you can Orchid as you say, Orchid the Sand King, Doom the Ember. You know, you can do a lot of damage, and yeah, but now I'm probably going to see Noki.
What is Bambo doing? I know he has the song TP, but this is just silly. The shenanigans here pulled by Bambo, just trying to force them out of the jungle, farming wherever he feels like, and knowing there's minimal recompense. It's pretty amusing.
I'm trying to think now what else. I had something else I wanted to say. Oh wow, Sand King's going for a for a South of Bias.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That escalated quickly.
It did. It was out of nowhere.
You know, Hex is never a bad thing. Bottom line is get down and dirty. Well. Get Hex the Storm. He's not going to have a BKB or Linken's anytime soon. Easy pickings for their team lineup.
And they're not going to see it coming. That's the best thing about it. They're not going to see it coming. And it's just all of a sudden he blinks like, oh crap, Sand King has a South of Bias. And as for Prospect as well, takes quite a bit of damage when he's sat up, so not being able to spray them quills and get the charges up on his movement speed as well as his damage, so that's nice up against him as well. Yeah, I think Zephyr are gearing up here for a big push pretty soon, as they took down Roshan and put him up on Ember Spirit, and that's probably the best hero to carry the Aegis of the Immortal. He just does so much with mana, with HP, and as we'll see in the next big team fight, if he does drop down, he'll just come back and Sleight of Fist again and Flame Guard on, and yeah, it's going to be a big mess the next big team fight.
Blitz has Invis. Better not get baited into this. There are so many allies of Everlast right nearby. Saw the Bristleback was actually just brushing arms with him, but enough to get pricked a little bit by those quills, but nevertheless, we'll move on to the next target here. We see Storm Spirit in a pretty bad way if they can pin him down. Unfortunately, they don't have the Hex. If they had the Hex, I think they would go there, but instead they had to wait a little bit, make sure everything was prepared for the pounce, and it just obviously wasn't their opportunity. So Storm Spirit will back off, and Zephyr will just be happy with their current state of affairs. I mean, they have BOTs now in Sexy Bambo, so he can troll to his heart's content with that song TP. And in general, they're just in a great position having a 9-kill lead. But Everlast looking to change that, will smoke up to the top lane, using Storm as a little bit of bait, and we'll have to see how Zephyr responds.
Oh man, Ace is not going to have his South of Ice in time as they're going to this big team fight here. Holy hell, Sexy Bamboo got out of nowhere.
Alright, MyPro's going to blink in here, gets the Doom off on Corey, but so much damage coming into Doom. Big disables lockman plays. There's the epicenter, nullifying the pipe entirely and bursting down hard. Finishing offline without a finger and almost being enough to bring down the Bristleback. But in the end, they're getting cleaned up here. Storm Spirit doing a lot of damage, and he gets a triple kill out of it, forcing the Aegis as well. Corey going to try to do some work with that Fire Remnant, will be able to speed his way away, but slowed down by the Viscous Nasal Goo. They need to go for the song to TP the carry to safety. BOTs were up on Bambo, but he apparently wants to go for some shenanigans here. Riptide will hurt BST quite a bit, and he will snag up a double damage rune. But still, he's by himself, and this Doom has a Blink Dagger. Man, this guy is living life on the edge.
Look how fast he is, though. 522 movement speed with the drums activated.
Strong. Well, BOT is Yasha, you know, that kind of build-up, you have to expect it a little.
Where the hell did he get that diffusal blade from? Because the last time I looked at him, he had nothing to look near to a diffusal blade. He had the Yasha, and now all of a sudden he has about a net worth of 11.5k net worth out of nowhere, just secretly farming in the jungle, hiding his items in the courier. But yeah, that was really well played. Stop Spirit, I mean, especially getting in there. The Doom went on to the Ember, and Ember, I think, was a little bit out of position there. Maybe he thought that because he's Aegis of the Immortal, he can essentially waste a Doom on himself, but he could. But he became, once he didn't have a Doom, he became essentially useless in the team fight. Like, once he was doomed, he couldn't do anything. He just sort of ran around in circles trying to get a couple of A-clicks here and there. They carted him, damaged him, and then he dropped down from the Doom. So that was a little bit of a mistake. They maybe should have protected him, backed off a bit, then healed him up and gone back in to see if they can do a little bit more damage. But then it kind of followed up immediately with Aosin with his big epicenter. So they thought, you know, it's fight time, let's go in. What they could have done essentially was backed off if they pursued, used the Naga Siren sleep, wait out the duration of the Doom, maybe heal him up. No one has a mech, unfortunately. But yeah, there's a couple of options there, but now I think Satabas is available on AOC.
Yeah, and this will be really good for them. Like I said, I thought it was going to be the Lincoln Sphere because of the fact that Corey is just such a squishy hero against Doom, and here we see it again. Are they going to get the Blink Stomp, though? On cooldown right now, he blinked to get the Doom off, which means they kind of wasted it. Sexy Bambo goes for the song, and here comes Big Deal Eosin. No, not going to go for the Epi, just going to go for a full retreat and say, you threw your Doom out, now we have control of the map and we can push into our heart's content. So, like you said, they can't really heal him back up. He's going to be relying on his Battle Fury regen there, but still going to be healthy enough to go into the next foray. And
I don't really know what they can do besides picking up team fights here and trying to force towers down. It's almost like I said, there's no real urgency on the side of Everlast. Now as you reach into the sort of mid to late game, they do have a lot more with the Storm Spirit, obviously be able to jump in with that Orchid Malevolence. But on the other end, it's sort of just brute force for Zephyr at the moment, trying to pick up team fights, get the hook shot. But oh wow, look at that damage.
Yeah, big sleight of fist, crits, Desolator. He's got everything he really needs. Now I will comment that in technicality, the Battle Fury does not really benefit from the Desolator. If he's cleaving, the armor doesn't matter of his opponents, so it's kind of a thing where Desolator is great for pushing the tower and is great for applying that debuff so that Naga can do a lot of right-click damage with that Diffusal Blade and her illusions, but it's not the most synergetic of abilities. Still, I think it's probably the best way to build him right now is if you have the space to farm with Battle Fury, it's a good idea on many heroes, and certainly Ember Spirit's one of them. He's not going to get that much cleave in the team fights, but he's going to get so much out of jungle farming that he's able to get this high value net worth, 17.5k, and nobody is even close to that value. Storm Spirit's at 13.2, Doom's at 12.1, and their Bristleback is 11.5. It's just like they don't really have nearly the gold value that Corey's been able to farm up in this 34-minute game.
Yeah, and now I'm going to finally try to take down these tier 1 towers. I'm going to try trade as well on the back end. AOC is there with an invisibility rune, so quick trade. And Bristleback there to try and defend.
Now we see the net come out, Bristleback actually in a really bad spot. He does have Pipe to nullify some of this magic damage, but was trying to hesitate to give it to his allies here as the reinforcements have arrived. 2 TPs come in, but they're just going to get songed and TP away, while on the bottom, Storm Spirit gets hexed up. And, Sexy Bambo, really. We do see Storm Spirit zipping away at 550 HP. They would have done at least a few hundred more damage, but he did get actually pseudo-saved by the Song of the Siren, as once his TP completed, he was making him invulnerable out of stuns. So I'm not saying they would have gotten the kill without the Song of the Siren, but it certainly didn't help their chances of doing so. Either way, they evade the attack on the top lane, take no losses in that regard, and they're still feeling pretty fine. But the one thing is now Everlast are probably considering the possibility of just putting the Doom on the Naga Siren, or at least the Orchid Malevolence, so that he won't be able to get the song off at the time he needs. Now, I believe you can just still dispel Orchid with your Diffusal Blade, so if Sexy Bambo is really quick on the draw with those hotkeys, he might still be able to get it off at the appropriate time, but it takes a lot of effort in that regard.
I think, yeah, you can. Well, anyway, 7,500 gold lead for Zephyr and about 10k experience lead as well. So, you know, they're sitting comfortably ahead. I would still like to see secondary boots up on Earson. Probably going to go for the BOTs as well. But yeah, as you mentioned, Corey is just insanely farmed. He's going to have a BKB now as well, and that's just going to make him crazy. And actually, speaking about these Orca Relevants, there is the Manta style picked up by the Naga Siren. So, not really worried about that. Not really worried about the silence anymore. Can just Manta that stuff off. But they are going to go for the second Roshan here, and yeah, it'll be great for Corey. But Corey doesn't actually have any slots, so he'll have to get his BKB first. But they do spot out everyone else in the jungle with one rocket.
I keep getting distracted by Twitch chat. I realized I made the mistake of talking about armor mechanics. A lot of people don't know that, and like it just like people start firing debates back and forth about stuff that they didn't really research, but they had hearsay of. So I think I started something crazy over there, but yeah, it's Twitch chat for you. It's a fun time, even if it's so halfway complete nonsense. But either way, we do see Roche respawning, movement coming in from Zephyr to swoop in and claim the easy cheese. They got some sexy bamboolutions to tank that up, no problem, and that should be easy pickings for them, as Everlast just don't have the will to contest. Actually, like you see how defeated they feel against these big epicenters and freezing fields in their item builds. You look at Bristleback, he picked up a pipe maybe like 8 or 9 minutes ago, but he still had to pick up a BKB. So did Doom, and so did Storm Spirit. They have a pipe of insight, but still feel the need to pick up 3 BKBs because they're just still taking too much damage. They're getting disabled too hard, and these scythes came out a lot sooner than they were prepared for. So they really feel like they're trying to make up for lost ground, and although their next team fight might be pretty good, since we're talking 3 10-second BKBs or close to it, it's still it feels like they're struggling just to hold on in this game.
Yeah, I mean, and even if they don't get in with the Blink Dagger, they have the sleep to set up, they have the sleep to escape, so just shows the BKBs, and now with those BKBs up, they can't even use the sleep to cause a big team fight. They could sleep and take out the BKB units. I mean, Corey does so much damage now, with that Aegis Immortal as well, a BKB for his own, and it's just... and he's look at the damage he deals, so much damage. So the BKBs, you know, it could be a double-edged sword for them, but on the other end, Naga Siren just being an absolute troll, and actually nicely dodging out this goo there. Not that it was that important, but getting rid of the goo. The rest of Zephyr pushed out the top lane, so push Ratdoda by Sexy Bamboo on the Naga, and everyone else heads to the top lane and is going to try and push that out.
Sexy Bamboo just popping off the song the second they initiate, and this gives them plenty of space to take the top tier 2. Like, they can't even choose to rotate fast enough. Now they're all TPing to the tier 3, but the TPs are delayed. They got some scout with the movement of the Fire Remnant. This tier 2's gone. Like, just that quick Sexy Bambo Song of Siren, and suddenly they get a free tier 2 just because of his movement. And meanwhile, he's farming up the jungle. You were asking where he's getting all this cash from? It's the Radiant's jungle. He's taking it out of their pockets because he's able to maneuver so well with the mirror images and now the mantle illusions and farm up with Riptide to the point that they can't do anything to him. Now, he has died once for it, but that's minimal recompense for how much he's taken right out of their mouths.
And it looks like... I'm thinking now what I was trying to say about the Naga Siren. Oh yeah, Naga Siren, after watching Miracle, you know, that's kind of what he does as well, with the farming all the lanes and pushing everything, and once he gets these pretty much exactly similar items here, maybe the Radiance is probably the only thing I think that Miracle goes for in this build. The Radiance, just be able to push some more, and that's actually something that he could have gone for, and actually something he might... No, Heart of Teresk probably going to be the next thing on his list, but yeah, the Miracle... Naga Siren, but they are doing a little bit of split push action here as Corey leading the fire on the bottom, sorry, and Sexy Bamboo on the bottom lane, and actually middle lane's being pushed in as well just by creeps himself. Yeah, all angles right now. It's just I mean, they don't like have the Radiance level of Rat on the Naga Siren, but still very frustrating. Just Sexy Bamboo's playstyle of being very aggressive and really not having to worry about anything forthcoming. We might see the Orchid he didn't even have his Manta off cooldown. It still was on a 10-second cooldown, but he didn't Orchid him, so it doesn't matter. In the end, he didn't have to even waste a Diffusal charge. I think we concur that that's possible. So, yeah, in the end, Song of Siren, he walks away,
And in 45 seconds, he can do it again. He's just being as annoying as possible right here. And what is Storm going to do? Like, he's pulling him back in, and finally Lion comes to the fight, but this just gives an opening for Zephyr to push in. Nice Song of Siren, nice Finger of Death and Hex. They will kill off the Naga, but fight breaks out on top. Naga buys back, has his BOTs, and now we do see coming in Corey getting doomed up. Aosin going for the Burrow Strike, but he already BKB'd, he wasted it. And now just trying to Sandstorm away, but they have the detection, and they will bring Chu down. Now we see the Aegis popping, Corey bursting hard to bring down Doom, and they will be able to get a kill in return. As well, the Storm Spirit got dropped down here solo to to Sexy Bamboo as he burned all his mana with the illusions. And if you get netted up and your mana's all burned, where are you gonna go? Not back to the fountain. Well, technically, but in a body bag, as it were. Anyways, there's a lot of kills coming out from Zephyr. They did take a couple of losses. Lost Eosin without using Epicenter, lost the Aegis, but it doesn't matter. They're taking racks. Right now, melee racks in the top lane, and soon to be the tier 3 down on bottom.
Where is Sexy Bamboo? Did he die again? Wait.
Oh, there he is. Bottom. He's been...
I'm looking on the minimap to try to find him out, but I see he's in between all these images there. And actually, oh no, they're going to lose the Doom again. He just brought back, but actually, this Bamboo could be a little bit of trouble as well. And Song of the Siren to get Blitz out.
Easy peasy. I mean, there's really no way to stop it unless they BKB before the Song of the Siren. Yeah. And for some reason, they don't feel like... I mean, first of all, the timing's awkward because it's almost instant. And second of all, you don't just want to BKB on nothing. It's like, if he wasn't going to cast the spell, then you're automatically wasting it because the Ensnare goes through physical, and it goes as physical, I mean, and it just doesn't nullify much. But now we do see some attempt on Corey. He'll just BKB it, and he should be fine. In fact, turn around with the Epicenter coming out, the Scythe and the Burrow Strike. And Storm Spirit is once again in the grave, now down to 4 Bloodstone charges.
Finally getting off, and yeah, Storm Spirit, that's the Bloodstone again, like I said in the beginning, it hasn't exactly, I think it got it up to 8 charges at one stage when they got that couple of kills off in the top lane. Other than that, it hasn't really done too much, but there we go.
There we go.
GG, well played, called.
Good game, well played indeed. Zephyr take it out. They play some shenanigans. Great split push movement from them on the multiple angles. I love the innovation of the Naga Siren offlane. It's very possible that it's been done by other pro teams recently, but I haven't seen it. It's new to me, and all the more impressive as a result. Great movement with the Boots of Speed early. Survived, blocked against Enchantress, and due to high load, match results are still pending, so we'll have to figure out who won this game, but nah. Zephyr takes it 1-0 very effectively in this best of 3. Can't wait to see what comes up in Game 2. Everlast still put up a pretty good fight. They put up some good movement. They had some pressure, but it just was paled in comparison to what Zephyr were accomplishing with each of their fights, with each of their exchanges. They always came out ahead, and in the end, they take the game very cleanly. Any other thoughts on it?
Nah, it was just cool to have a first taste of Ember Spirit's safe lane. Like I said, I've only seen him run in the mid lane, but it was pretty fantastic. And I must commend Eosin as well as Sexy Bamboo. Just out of nowhere, getting items. Well, I guess farming the jungle the whole time, but at the same time, Eosin going for the side advice a little bit different, and then having a pretty fantastic game. I mean, 7 for 4, it's not terrible, but well played to Zephyr, the North American South Koreans.
Indeed, indeed. That's a good way to put it there. And all the more impressive that Corey was able to do it without getting many defensive items for a very long time. But for that BKB, he was purely offensive, not a single point of strength to his name. But he didn't require a Lincoln Sphere from Sand King. That was going to be picked up next, but it wasn't picked up just yet. And that in of itself is quite impressive, that he was up against a Lion, a Doom, and a Storm Spirit, and never found himself in that bad of a spot. He died a couple times, once to Aegis and once actually dying, but all in all, farming up a Storm while playing purely aggressively in that glass cannon style, so props to him as well, but props to Zephyr as a whole as they take a very nice 23-14 victory. Going to the next game in just a few minutes, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This, once again, is the AOC Pro Cup, so shout out to AOC for the awesome sponsorship they have provided for this tourney here. See you guys on the next one.